Hello, guys. You are listening to the Mid-State League Weekly podcast covering Harvest Preparatory School athletics, keeping you posted and updated on all things Harvest Prep, and we'll be taking you around the Mid-State League. But this show is particularly a year in review, so we're going to go back and just, review some of the games that took place in this year's football team and update you on this upcoming basketball season. So this is the Mid-State League Weekly. You can hit us up on Twitter at MSL Weekly. Hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/MSL Weekly. On the IG at Willie Stimmage Photography. Just drop me an email at infoforwillie@gmail.com. Today is Tuesday, November the 14th, 2017. So give us a follow on all social media. With that being said, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to dive right back into it when we get back. This is the Mid-State League Weekly. I'm your host, Willie Stimmage.
Hi, I'm Beanie Wells. Whatever the sport, wherever it's played, there's one thing that student athletes, coaches, and fans can all share: sportsmanship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association Respect the Game campaign reminds us that school sports are so much more than wins and losses. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to make school sports a fun, positive, and rewarding experience that student athletes will remember for a lifetime. Every game, every time, let's all respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Okay, guys, you are back. This is the Mid-State League Weekly podcast. My name is Willie Stimmage, and we're just going to take you back on this 2017 football season, just to refresh our memories. What happened this year. Before I do that, though, let me go back to 2016 with the Harvest Prep Warriors football team. They started out kind of sluggish there. In the first three games, I know first game was like hyped up for Bexley, and they actually lost the game 41-20. And then they took on Franklin Heights in week 2, and they lost 48-36. Then they took on Bishop Rosecrans out of Zanesville, and they lost 54-47. And then some concerns started to take place, and people wanted to, is this team for real, And they really needed a win to like solidify or get on board. Let's put it like that. So they kind of got back on board, and they actually ran the table. To be honest with you, let me run this down right quick. After that third loss, they took on Worthington Christian, and they beat those guys 40-30. Then the next game, Madison Plains, which was a non-conference game, they beat Madison Plains 55-18. Dan had a good outing on that game. And then they came home to take on Millersport, which they kind of thumped them 84-0. Then they took on Burn Union, and they kind of thumped them at 57-10. And you can see like the winning streak starting to take place. And then the Harvest Prep Warriors took on Grove City Christian. They beat those guys 55-0. So here's the trend. And then they took on Fisher Catholic and beat those guys 50-0. And then the final game, which will take them into the Mid-State League outright champions, they took on Fairfield Christian, which had a pretty good team back 2016. They was really competitive. But Harvest Prep beat them 69-10, and they claimed the Mid-State League outright. And then they kicked it off in the playoffs in the first round. Harvest Prep went up to West Virginia to take on the Shady Side, which was a kind of seesaw game there. But at the end, Daniel Bangura caught that Hail Mary pass with no seconds on the clock, and they beat Shady Side 40-37, knocking those guys out of the playoffs. Then second round, regional semifinals, they took on Danville, and they beat Danville 44-21. It was kind of tight game first half, but Harvest Prep stepped on the gas in the second half and just took those guys out 44-21. Then we get to the regional finals. They took on Waterford, and they beat Waterford 29-15. And then we went to the state semifinals. They took on Warren JFK, which they were upended 48-7 on a real frigid and cold night. That was pretty, and Harvest Prep went a long way. I mean, they went a long way that season, and that was one game. I was hoping they can just pull that thing off. That would have been something for the school. It'd have been historic for the school, but it is what it is. And then in the 2017 campaign, they had a lot of expectations coming in this year with a lot of guys returning. They had experience. They've been there. Dan's coming back to do what Dan does. And they started the year out with Bexley, a rematch from last year. And they beat Bexley 30-0. And I was thinking that, hey, when they beat Bexley, this is like the catapult of their year. It's like, they beat this non-conference team. They can, because I know they can run through the Mid-State League, but they win all these non-conference games. This kind of solidify who they are and what their season's going to be like. And I was kind of like, hey, these guys, they come out and made a statement, and they did 30-0. Then they took on a rematch with Franklin Heights. They beat Franklin Heights 44-14. I said, hey, here we go. Same schedule from last year with the non-conference. But one game was Mifflin they took on. And they never, City League school. And Mifflin beat them 55-48. But that was a pretty good loss because if one for the turnovers that cost them the game, and I always said Harvest Prep had 2 more minutes in that game, they could have probably pulled that out because they were real competitive. And they was going toe to toe with those guys, and when they came out in the second half, they just turned up. I just put it like that. They turned up to another level, and there was some of the offensive linemen was getting so winded that they couldn't keep up with that high-powered offense that Harvest Prep runs, hurry-up offense. And here we go into the Mid-State League games. The first game took on Worthington Christian. They beat those guys 52-3. Then they took on Bishop Rosecrans up in Zanesville, beat them 50-14. Then they come back home to take on Middlesport, and they thumped them 60-0. And then Harvest Prep took on Burn Union, which was kind of like a strange game after the game was over. But they took on those guys, beat those guys 56-21. And after Harvest Prep beat Burn Union, which they was tied, both was tied for first place in the Mid-State League Cardinal. Burn Union just went down. They lost the next 2 games, and they kind of just got bowled out of the running period. So and then they took on Grove City Christian. They beat Grove City Christian 46-8, and then they took Fisher Catholic to the woodshed. They beat those guys 72-24. And then your final game, they took on Fairfield Christian, and this was real embarrassing. They beat those guys 90-7. I mean, we're talking football. This is not no basketball score. This is a football score, 90-7. So that kind of wraps up their year. They had a real good year. Only lost to Mifflin, but you notice how they run the table. In this last year, they lost the first 3 games, and they ran the table. And then they actually ran the table in the playoffs until they ran into Warren JFK. So that was a pretty good year. And this year, they could have been undefeated on the season if one for that loss to Mifflin, but that was a non-conference loss that didn't affect them in the Mid-State League. And then on the first round of the playoffs, they hosted Hannibal River. So Hannibal River came in and gave Harvest Prep the business. I mean, it was 39-34 the final, and they jumped out. I mean, the guys jumped out. They jumped out and scored first. Harvest Prep came back and scored after they scored, but that was a costly fumble. Those guys capitalized on it. I mean, it was like, and they went in the locker room with like maybe a 15-point lead. And then they came out and scored twice again. Then Harvest Prep was tightening it up. But, I always said it's hard to play from behind. I mean, you got to get out there. You got to come set the tone early, make a statement, and, do what you do. But guys have a good season. They had a real good season, man. I'm so proud of these guys. I love to see them play. All these guys had a good season. But Harvest Prep, season's over. Now we're focusing on all-season training. Some of the seniors focus on what their career is going to be like after they leave Harvest Prep. I know a couple of them have offers to go to other schools and play football, but we'll see what happens. We'll figure it out, see what happens on that. Let me just move right on to the all-centric district teams that was put out by, I think it was Max Prep. Division 7, all central district teams go like that. First team, quarterback is Skylar Durbin, Danville, 6'5", 200-pound senior. Jacob Ricker, Burn Union, 6'1", 190-pound senior. And your running backs will be Daniel Bangura, of course, Harvest Prep, 5'10", 180-pound senior. Mason Gores, Cardington, 5'10", 185-pound sophomore. So he'll be back for 2 more years. On the receiving side, we got Stephen Berry of Millersport, 6'3", 210-pound senior. Corbin Hazen, Danville, 6'1", 197. He's a junior. Tyler McKinley, Danville, 5'10", $150. He's a senior. Savon Mitchell for Harvest Prep, 6'2", 160-pound senior. Tight end Bryce Berger, Danville, 6 feet, 200-pound senior. Lineman Keegan Christie of Fisher Catholic, 6'2", 245. He's a senior. Trey Turnbow, Harvest Prep, 6'5", 300-pound junior. He'll be back next year. Good deal. Dylan Wilson, Danville, 6 foot, 205-pound junior. And your kicker on this roster will be Reese Dorsey of Danville, 5'8", 140-pound junior. These are your first team offense, and then your first team defense for the all-centric district team. Your backs are Brett Baker for Grove City Christian, 5'11", 175-pound junior. Daniel Keel from Cardington, 5'11", 195-pound senior. Logan Lloyd for Fisher Catholic. This guy is a special player, Logan Lloyd is. Fisher Catholic, 5'10", 165-pound senior. Your linebackers, Zion Bangura, Harvest Prep, 5'10", 180-pound junior. Chaz Dickerson from Burn Union, 5'10", 200-pound junior. Tyler Vanilla, Cardington, excuse me, 5'11", 205-pound senior. Brody Wilder, Burn Union, 5'10", 162-pound senior. Your linemen are Chris Greenwald of Danville, 6 foot, 214-pound junior. Isaiah Mullen from Harvest Prep, he's 6'6", 260-pound senior. Joey Muncie of Burn Union, 6'1", 220. He's a senior. Marshall Stoll, Danville, 5'10", 220-pound senior. Your punter is Matthias Bean of Columbus Crusaders, 6'3", 190-pound senior. Your offensive player of the year, of course, Dan Bangura, Harvest Prep. Defensive player of the year, Marshall Stoll, Danville. Coach of the year, Steve Dalton of Burn Union. Your honorable mentions, Quentin Blunt, Grove City. Isaac Butts, Millerport. Moses Davis, Harvest Prep. Cameron Garrison, Reigning Sports Academy. Kristen Gall, Fisher Catholic. Seth Carnes, Danville. Zane Migran, Burn Union. Drew Pierce, Danville. Dalton Purdie, Cardington. Corey Soley, Fairfield Christian. Devin Speck, Cardington. Blake Splitter, Grove City Christian. Connor Swartz, Fisher Catholic. Garrett Wagner, Cardington. Jeremiah Whitton, Columbus Crusaders. And Kent Witzel of Grove City Christian. These are all Central District teams that they listed. Now here are your Mid-State League Cardinal all-league teams. And let me give a shout out to junior KJ Price of London. He is the running back of the year for the Mid-State League Ohio division. This guy he's got a motor, so he's going to be in pretty good shape come next year. But here's your first team Mid-State League all-league teams of the Mid-State League Cardinal. The first team, Daniel Bangura, Harvest Prep, was the running back of the year. Isaiah Mullen, Savon Mitchell, and Nick Tyree Martin, all from Harvest Prep, first team. For Zanesville, Derek Clunker, he was the co-lineman of the year. Jack Nash, Hudson Moore, and Carter Dosh for Zanesville, Rosecrans. For Burn Union, Jacob Ricker, Joey Muncie, Brody Wilder, and Chaz Dickerson all made first team. For Worthington Christian, Joe Seifer, Galen Cox, and Michael Hartstein for all made first team for Worthington Christian. For Grove City Christian, Brett Baker, Kobe Bruni, Blake Splitter, made first team. Middlesport, you have Isaac Butts and Darren Harkins. For Fairfield Christian, Jared Walker and Caleb Collins made first team. And for Fisher Catholic, Logan Loy made first team. And Will McCray is another one for Worthington Christian that made first team Mid-State League Cardinal Division team. Your second team for Harvest Prep, Eli Rogers, Richard Turnbull, Jeffrey Ray, Moses Davis, and Mikhail Gorins all made second team. For Zanesville, Rosecrans, Matt Applegate, Andrew Church, Sean Trebb, and Dalton Proctor. For Zanesville, Burn Union, you have David Reed, Zane Migran, Tyler Householder made second team. And for Worthington Christian, Brandon Anderson, Luke Sharp, Michael King. Excuse me. For Grove City Christian, Jacob Stone King and Zach Frank. For Middlesport, Stephen Berry, Cloten Close, and Will Cassidy for Middlesport that made second team. For Fairfield Christian, Jacob Hasey and Kristen Bates made second team. And for Fisher Catholic, Keegan Christie and Nick Yanita, they made second team. Your honorable mention, Harvest Prep, Andrew Howes, Janai French, and Rasal Harris. For Zanesville, Andrew Nash, Nick Loco, and Cam Hagee. For Burn Union, Dakota Justice, Jeremiah Wolfenbarger, and Chase McCarty. For Worthington Christian, Brandon Mullen, Ajaya Smith, Danny Myers. And for Grove City Christian, Alex Schuler, Kristen Laudenshiner, and Connor Maxwell. For Middlesport, Chris Blauser, Chase Nelson, and Hayden Snipper. For Fairfield Christian, your honorable mentions are Nolan Blowers, David Forbes, and Cameron Lechner. And for Fisher Catholic, Derek Bowman, Christian Gall, and Connor Swartz. Those are your honorable mentions for the Mid-State League Cardinal Division. Hey guys, we're going to jump off here. We're up against the break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into some basketball. So, let's go. This is the Mid-State League Weekly Podcast. My name is Willie Stimmich.
Every parent wants their child to study hard and succeed. At HPS, we believe athletics play a vital role in your child's development. Sports at Harvest Preparatory School train students in key qualities such as leadership, commitment, and Christian character. Athletes at HPS consistently have the opportunity to compete at the championship level because our driving force is playing to win.
Here at Harvest Preparatory School, we conduct our athletics at the highest level.
Not only do our students at Harvest Preparatory excel academically, but they have the opportunity to excel athletically as well. Currently, 4 out of 5 students at Harvest Prep in grades 7 through 12 participate in interscholastic athletics. Here at HPS, we are proud members of the Mid-State League and the Ohio High School Athletic Association. If your son or daughter are interested in participating in athletics here at Harvest Preparatory, they will be coached by a world-class coaching staff.
Harvest Prep has incredible athletic facilities and great sports teams.
Our facilities, really second to none. Whether it's volleyball or it's baseball, whether it's basketball or football, your child will be afforded the highest quality athletic programs available.
No matter what it is, our kids get to compete with the best in Central Ohio, and the coaches are fantastic in it, instilling Christian character while in competition.
We're sure you'll agree Harvest Preparatory School is the right option for your child.
Okay, guys, we're back. This is the Mid-State League Weekly Podcast. My name is Willie Stimmich. Let's get into this second segment. We're going to talk about Harvest Prep basketball. That season is right around the corner, so, let's see what it is. They're going to open up the season December the 9th. at Harvest Prep, they will be taking on the Wellington school. Wellington made it down to the state last year. Last year or year before last. So they have a pretty good ball club. Then they'll be taking on Fisher Catholic, Burn Union, and then the holiday tournament. And then the rest of the schedule is on harvestprep.org if you want to look at the schedule there. And then, Harvest Prep had a pretty good, decent outing last year. I mean, one of the main games was Grove City Christian. That was like a real battle. These guys was, man, they talking about good basketball. These guys was going at it, man. Harvest Prep last year they took down the Eagles 77-68 in overtime. Like with last year against the Warriors, they had Shaylin Wall, one of the big three for Harvest Prep. Senior guard Shaylin Wall and freshman C.J. Anthony and junior forward C.J. Pena. They really grinded it out for a total of 66 points in that game. And they really went at it. C.J. Pena, 6'5" wingman, corralled that offensive rebound above the rim. He put it back late in that game with a minute 21 to go in that game in overtime. And the Harvest Prep actually won that game. Shaylin Wall led the team in that particular game with 30 points. I mean, he was balling. I mean, Shaylin, I like his attitude. Even C.J. Anthony, he scored 21 points in that game. He was clutch. He was a freshman, man. I mean, this guy's a freshman. C.J. added 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in that game on his stat sheet. So he actually, and then C.J. Pena, he finished with 15 points, but he had a game high 17 rebounds in that game. And that was a game for the ages. But, when it came back down to the playoffs, these guys, I don't know how it worked out, but these guys met each other again in the playoffs, and who knows, Grove City Christian actually won. It kind of ended Harvest Prep's season. But, that was last season. This is this season, so, we got to go at it again. Some of the announcements for Harvest Prep basketball. C.J. Anthony visited Wright State maybe a couple of weeks ago. Don't know how that visit came out, but it's good that he got the chance, have somebody look at him as a sophomore. I mean, and that was pretty good. Sol Hines visited Central State. He's a 6'4" guard, shooting guard for Harvest Prep, and he had a visit to Central State. And C.J. Pena is already committed to Taylor University. So kudos to those 3 guys, man, for doing, what they do. Mid-State League Cardinal Division. Last year, Harvest Prep was 19-6. They won the conference 9-1. This year, no Shaylin Wall, so we got to pick up the slack this year. Some of the important games last year, Harvest Prep lost to Walnut Ridge 61-50. They lost to Westerville North 86-70. But they got to the playoffs, first round of the playoffs. And in that first round of the boys basketball district, they took on Fisher Catholic. They defeated them 86-50. And then they moved on to play Gahanna Christian. They defeated those guys 81-59. And then they went to I think it was like Carroll, Ohio. They took on Grove City Christian, and that game was 64-60. Grove City Christian ended their basketball season. Some of the guys, Avante Duncan, guard, coming back next year. He should be pretty good. Mostly all the guys that played last year will play this year. Christopher Anthony, we call him CJ around Harvest Prep. This guy, out of 21 games, he averaged 13.8 points a game. His game high was 24. This was the 2016-2017 season. Now I'm looking for him to I'm looking for him to turn up this year. He's gonna take another level of the way he plays this year. He got Claudio Pena coming back this year. Elijah Daniels, he's coming back. Jamari Doe, Sean Peterson, Sol Hines, and they have a couple other guys that's going to be on that basketball squad. So looking forward to December the 6th, I believe it was. First game at Harvest Prep and Wellington School will be kicking off. Hey guys, take a quick break and we're going to come back and wrap this up. This has been Mid-State League Weekly. My name is Willie Stimmich.
Student athletes are unique. and so are their sports injuries. They need a level of expertise found only at Nationwide Children's Hospital. Our sports medicine experts offer something adult care providers can't: a complete understanding of the student athlete at 8 convenient locations across Central Ohio. To get your student athletes back in the game and keep them there, start by visiting nationwidechildrens.org/sportsmedicine for more information. That's nationwidechildrens.org/sportsmedicine.
Chocolate milk is the official beverage of the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Not only is it delicious, low-fat or fat-free chocolate milk is a great way to fuel up for any activity. Enjoying nutrient-rich foods like chocolate milk and staying active helps you perform your best on the field, on the court, on the track, or anywhere. Because it's packed with good stuff, few beverages are better to fuel up with than low-fat or fat-free chocolate milk. It tastes great and is packed with the same 9 essential nutrients as white milk. Visit drink-milk.com for the facts on chocolate milk.
Okay, guys, you're listening to the Mid-State League Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Willie Stimmich, and we're going to take it on home, man. This is the last segment, and here we go. Let's get it. I want to talk about Mr. Ohio football contenders. This will be whoever wins the 31st annual winner. Their name will be joined with a long list of Ohio Prep legends. Former Mr. Ohio football winners includes Charles Woodson in 1984. You know, Charles Woodson played with the Oakland Raiders. He's now a broadcaster on Sunday Night Football. You got Maurice Clarett. You know what he did for Ohio State, 2001. Mitch Trubisky, 2012. He currently quarterbacks for the Chicago Bears. Andy Katzenmoyer, the big legend for Ohio State, linebacker, 1995. Curtis Enos, 1993. Bobby Ewing, 1990. And Robert Smith, 1988 to 1999. This list is legit. These are some quality players on this list, man. I mean, these guys, these are ballers. But Mr. Ohio football contenders, here are your guys that's got a shot of winning this. Number one is Daniel Bangura, of course, for Harvest Prep. He set multiple Ohio records. He had the Harvest Prep won 90-7 over Fairfield Christian. He ran for 355. And he set the state all-time leading rushing yard. He's finished with 9,441 yards. You have Ravine Hargrove of Trotwell Madison. He's a senior. He's a Bowling Green recruit, so he's coming in. He's nominated. You have Joey Baumman of Wadesworth. He's a quarterback. He's a senior, and he's committed to the University of Virginia. You have Isaac Bauer of Sydney. He's a running back. He's a Northwestern recruit, so he's taking his talents to Northwestern. You have Zane Rice of Barberton. You have Jay Vollenheim of Cincinnati Anderson. He's a quarterback. You have Godwin Joe Brush of Linshurst. He's a quarterback, senior. You have Mark Wade of Girard. He's a quarterback. You have Keegan Armitage of Ashland. He's a quarterback. I won't be chopping these names up. You have Jornell Mans of Manfield Senior. He's a Minnesota Gopher commit. He's a running back, so he's taking his talents to Minnesota. He's been recruited by Minnesota. You have Andrew Newsom, Tri-Valley Dresden. I think they're in the playoffs. I think they're a couple of games from the state. I believe they are. You have Tadas of Mentor, quarterback. You have Chase Wolf of Cincinnati Xavier. He's taking his talents to Wisconsin, so I guess he'll be playing with Isaiah Mullen up there. You have KJ Price from London, running back. He's just a junior, but he traveled to Wyoming for a D4 playoff game, so I guess he's looking to, taking his talents a step higher after his senior year. This guy's rushed for 2,363 yards and 25 touchdowns this year. So I like KJ Price. Colton Brewster of Perry, quarterback. And you have Jalen Cunningham of the University School of Huntington Valley. He's a quarterback. He's a Youngstown State recruit. So let me see. They got any more on this list? Let me look. I think that's the last one. These are your candidates for Mr. Ohio to put their name up there with the Clarettes and the Woodsons and all those guys. And hopefully, that'd be nice if Dan can get it. But all these guys are worthy of qualifying and winning this certificate. This not the certificate, this honor. So hopefully one of these guys will come out with it. I want to see who it's going to be. I don't know if the nominee's been announced. I don't know if they're on the verge of being announced. Maybe they'll be announced after the high school playoffs is over. But, it is what it is. So, we'll see what happens. So with that being said, guys, it's a wrap for the day. I'm glad. I apologize for yesterday. Sunday had some technical difficulties. Couldn't get the show up on Sunday. Try to get Monday. System failure, but we're up and running today. So kudos. Hey guys, that's a wrap. I'm about to bounce out. This has been the Mid-State League Weekly Podcast. I want to give a special shout out to the OSHAA for allowing me to bring a podcast to shed light on the Mid-State League. Thank you for the Ohio Prep Sports Writers Association, which I'm a proud member of. Thank all the persons that allow me to do this. Thank the Mid-State League Cardinal Division. I thank Harvest Prep, all those guys that make up the sporting Coach Dave Dennis, Athletic Director Dave Dennis. Give a shout out to him, and just glad to be a part of this. So with that being said, guys, we're about to get out of here. So you guys have a great week, and we'll see you hopefully Sunday. Hopefully everything will be up and functioning and working properly. So we'll see you Sunday. Hey guys, I'm out. This is the Mid-State League Weekly Podcast. My name is Willie Stemich. Have a great week.